Belgravia in London, one of the most expensive residential areas in the world. Houses here can easily cost from 15 to 65 million pounds. And this is where in the last few months a group of squatters and their self-proclaimed leader, the businessman, electrician, property developer, filmmaker Mark Gard, are moving from mansion to mansion, neighbouring the likes of Margaret Thatcher in Chester Square. Their latest occupation is the former house of ex-Home Secretary David Blanket.
Light fixtures.
There's all people asleep, so just be careful when you go in some rooms.
I read that you've done it in 9 properties in here. Can you
there's an agenda.
Okay, tell us the agenda.
I've actually been involved with 27 squats, but 9 of them are on offshore accounts. Basically, it's a protest. There's 312 properties in Belgravia alone, left on offshore accounts, anonymous owners, hiding behind a nominee director. Nobody knows who owns them. The Grosvenor estate cannot enforce its restrictions on not painting your house, looking after your property. They can't enforce these because these are anonymous people. So what we're doing is we're taking these properties, filling them full of homeless, nurses, teachers, firemen, key workers, people who are important for the city, protest to expose these people. Now, if you're an offshore owner and the squatters get into your house, you have to take them to court. Taking them to court gets there. No judge is going to give possession back to that offshore company or anonymous person, so you have to be named in court. That might cause you a problem. That basically will smoke you out as an offshore person, and you have to be named in court, and you get a 40% tax bill. Maybe worse, you might get asked where the 20 million came from. And that's what's happening. Out of 312 properties in Belgravia alone, I'm estimating between 10 and 15 houses that nobody's going to claim. So I'm now in possession of 2 £20 million houses, and no one's claiming because they're worried about the money which obtained them houses. This particular one is the Home Secretary's house. This has been standing empty for 3 years, so the protest is, for these guys, 13% of the Crown estate and government property is sitting empty. And the protest is, I threatened to do this one 3 months ago in a newspaper. So they've put 2 security guards in it, switched on the ministerial protection, quality protection. It's got bulletproof glass, bulletproof windows, etc. Bomb-proof curtains, all these special measures. It's got 150 policemen live next door. And this place was impregnable. No one could get in. It took 3 months of surveillance. We were dressed as builders to do reconnaissance of the place. Up ladders, hard hats, luminous jackets, etc. And then eventually it was down to a lazy security guard, allegedly, who was basically smoking in the property he wasn't supposed to, and he was leaving windows open, etc., because of his smoking habit. An estate agent who's got it for sale. They weren't switching the alarm on every time, because I noticed with surveillance that every time they were going out with clients, they weren't going beep and setting the alarm off. So the alarm was left off and possibly a window was open. So I just spotted, it took a few weeks, of weaknesses in the security. So we took advantage of that. On the day of the actual entry, we failed to do it with all the media with us, so we had to do it the next day. So it took 2 attempts with all the media. We got in this one. But basically, this is a protest for the government leaving 13% of the Crown Estate open. Now, the Queen's family used to own the Crown Estate. All right, see you. When are you back?
I think around 6, maybe earlier.
Are you contributing to the discussion tonight?
Yeah, I will.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll see you at 6 o'clock.
What's his name, Julian?
Julian, yeah.
Julian, hi.
Julian,
Hello.
Hi.
just walk in a minute, Julian.
Huh?
Just walk here a minute. This is Julian. Just say who you are.
Hi, Julian, hi. What do you do?
What do I do? I'm living in a squat.
No, do you have a job? Do you what profession?
No, I don't have a job at the moment, but I got a specialty.
What is that?
I'm doing martial arts.
What kind of martial arts?
A lot of different kind of martial arts.
Yeah, but
together.
he's very good. I mean, you're talking
You're black belt.
top grade.
No, not black belt or something. I just make.
He's invented his own style of martial arts, but we're actually doing.
It's not martial art. It's closer from self-defense. I'm trying to stay very close from reality.
Would you like to join the film crew, which is filming Julian doing a display on this table? Because this table is the centre of the world.
He wants to do it on the table.
No,
Where are you from?
I'm French.
French.
Alright.
Okay, thanks.
See you later. Julian, 6 o'clock, yeah? Abdul, are you coming at the discussion, yeah?
No, I need to go out now.
No, are you coming tonight to the discussion?
At 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah. He's avoiding the camera. No, don't worry. The camera later is you can sit behind it. Do not come because you think you're going to be on camera. You can actually sit behind it and voice the discussion, okay?
Well, I would like to go out now.
Yes, just Julian knows what to do.
Okay.
All right, see you later. This is government property separate to the Crown Estate.
But leaving 13% of the estate.
In the Telegraph 3 months ago, I threatened to target the Crown Estate, which is 13% owned. I don't know if you know the history of the Crown Estate. The Crown Estate used to belong to the monarchy. And in Georgian times, was handed to the government for an income, because the coffers were quite low. I think it's about time the Queen should consider taking the Crown Estate back, because her family would manage it better and not leave 13% of it around. I know for a fact the Queen is concerned about homeless people. You might not believe that. She never leaves any of her properties empty, mothballing. Heating switched on for 3 years with one security guard. So often the Queen at winter time gives monumental buildings to the homeless and they open them up, etc. That's what the actual Queen, she's on the record for doing it. Admiralty Arch, which goes out of Trafalgar Square, you know the arch at the bottom of the Mall, she gives that to homeless people every week. I think the Queen's family should consider taking the Crown Estate back, because this administration is mismanaging it. This is the protest. This particular property is Home Office property where the Home Secretaries live. Why have they left it empty for 3 years with the heating on and not using it? It's got 17 rooms, for God's sake. That's what this protest is. The police were shaking these guys down and myself at the last property. We couldn't have dreamt of having a more important property than this one.
So, who pays? Is it the taxpayer paying, for example, for the heat?
Yes.
And
No,
is that...
how much is 2 security guards? The heating bill we've analysed is £7,000. I'm an electrician by trade.
£7,000 a year?
Yes. The council tax bill was £6,000. Now it's down to 3 because they are applying for empty house status. They weren't for 2 years. They were actually paying the full amount, £6,000. So it's costing £10,000 for council tax and heating alone. Then you've got the Chubb contract for 2 security officers. What is that costing? Now, everyone can tell that it's not damp. It hasn't been. You can tell the heating's been on for 3 years because it's not damp. There's obviously cleaners coming here because there's a little dust, but it's not months and months. It's probably 3 or 4 weeks. So they've got cleaning detail as well.
So is your focus that it's the taxpayers' money, like my money,
Yes,
paying for
I'm
this?
a taxpayer.
Yeah.
Now, there's one newspaper exposed me being an offshore person, which I have. I am subject to a trust. I have a trust in the Cayman Islands. But I've paid tax for 27 years. And just because I made a lot of money a few years ago and I've gone offshore, which some people can say I'm a hypocrite, this is where I got the secret list of these offshore houses. I was handed the list in a golf club in the Cayman Islands from the good offshore people to name and shame the bad offshore people. So these 312 houses in Belgravia are people who don't care about the buildings, who are using the money to facilitate their allegedly laundering and possibly not owning up to the thing. There's one particular case, one guy's been named in open court now in the public record. Basically, he was buying this property, which was 75 Eaton Place. He bought it for 16 million. He's now selling it for 20 million. He makes £4 million profit, and that money is offshore, but he lives in England. So he's claiming non-don status to the eligibility of the tax facility, but he actually lives in Knightsbridge. When he's claiming, nobody knows that his company is buying and selling these houses.
I want to know how you got involved with the homeless. How did this become
Right,
your...
when I was living in the big house in Surrey, which I've got photos of in here, I think, King Sheen it was called. It's called King Sheen. It was the Earl of Lonslow used to own it. I've ended up 29 years old owning a 30-room mansion. You know, I'm thinking, what am I doing? This is amazing. So I used to, I had a £5,000 month mortgage to pay all these leaseholds of these flats. So I used to work part-time as well, driving for a casino, and I used to park my Jaguar in Soho, where the casino was, and basically I used to get to know this homeless girl who was begging, and she was a very beautiful Asian girl running away from an arranged marriage, and I got to know her, and I watched her go down over a few months with heroin. So I grabbed her, rescued her from the street, and gave her my job as the garden where this property was, and got her off heroin. I spent 3 weeks in cold turkey with her, got her off heroin. I've done 3 girls since, by the way. And then through her, I got to know the homeless fraternity 17 years ago, whatever it was. And then recently, when I semi-retired at 36, and I bought that house and went to the countryside, married the glamour model, spent 5 years off. I took 5 years off. I got bored, and I wanted to come back to London. When I came back to London 3 years ago, I met all the old homeless people, got to know a few people, and my hobby's always been photography, and I've always taken photographs of sort of homeless tramps, etc. And I said to myself, wait a minute, I'm in this world, I get invited to crack dens, into squats, into this, into that. I could actually film this. So I started filming it, and basically it's evolved from there, and then there's a few agendas, and I have to have a purpose for something. I can't just film in a squat. So I ended up being unwittingly their spokesperson and their legal advisor and etc. And then I was basically back in the Cayman Islands, which I'm forced to be every year, by the way. I'm forced to stay in the Cayman Islands a certain amount of time because of my trust. I was in the Cayman Islands, in the golf club, and this mysterious person handed me this list. He says, you live in Belgravia, don't you? Yeah. There you go. There's something to chew on. And I was handed this list, and that's it. That's how this started. But I've always been connected to the homeless fraternity since I met, I'm going to get it wrong, Lunette. She was running away from arranged marriage from her father in Chiswick. And I helped her, and now she's in suburbia with a baby and a life, basically. I hide my iPhone in my briefcase because of squatters. Squatters do nick the odd thing.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful. Who's this for? Are you working for? Are you just freelance journalists hoping to pitch it to get some interest, or what? To me, you look like some of these ex-CIA honey trap agents that I've been interviewing for this honey trap show, where honey trap agents are sent out to see if men will be seduced while their partners are watching live on television, etc. That's what you look like. Very sophisticated, very intelligent, very beautiful ex-CIA agents, basically.
Do you think you're getting anywhere? Do you think you're making your point? Do you think anything will change?
Well, I've been live on television. I've been on 7 news programmes. I've got 4 or 5 offers of production companies taking over my documentary. Life magazine's coming. I've got £50,000 been pledged by a Saudi princess who wants to help these people, who was neighbours.
To help them?
Yes.
To do what for them?
Don't say Saudi, just say international rowing. I'll give you details later. She was next door to one of the squats, and she said, can I help? And she almost...
And you were where with MI5? You're the spy.
Well, I bypassed their security. Do you know that security? Do you know what you can do with this security here?
No.
So this is their alarm system, ministerial quality alarm system. It's amazing, it's all concealed.
There was a disturbance outside, and I found that there was a guy in a dark Range Rover, and 2 guys actually outside. One was washing his back, one was next to the window. We were doing some suspicious activity on the window and the door, etc. So I thought it was journalists, I thought it was somebody. So I came out. They scarpered. After examination of about 3 or 4 minutes, I found this actually stuck on the window of the squat, the main window next to the door. It's been confirmed it is a listening device. It's got an electronic chip inside with a receptor or receiver or whatever, or to do this servicing or whatever. We don't know who the people in the Range Rover were, but they've been a Home Office property. We're in charge of the security services, etc. We can guess. Possibly to find out our next property in advance. Possibly to see if there's a weakness in the security detail of the squat, to find out if they can infiltrate it or get the property back, get possession. Who knows? Could be a private detective firm on behalf of one of the previous owners who have upset to get information on me or something, but I don't know. But my guess is government. But I'm in possession of their bug, and I'm going to analyse it, and I'm going to basically, if you want your bug back, you can come and get it, yeah?